Hey, before we get into today's video, I just want to let you guys know I'm going to be having some Samus related bonus content at the end of today's video. So you definitely want to tune in till the end and check that out. Can't wait for you to see it. Alright, on to the video. Today I'm going to be drawing the definitive galactic bounty hunter, Samus Aran. Like many people who grew up in the 90s, my initial exposure to this character was from playing Super Smash Bros. For hours with my friends. I always thought Samus was a cool and fun character to play as, but I admittedly didn't know that much about her. I even originally thought that Samus was a male at first, only to be corrected by my friends that she was in fact female. Let's check out a clip of Samus doing battle with Link from the original Super Smash Bros. On a Nintendo 64.
Three, two, one, go!
Wow, Samus made quick work of Link in that round. What a powerhouse. Now I have to admit, I'm someone who slept on the Metroid series for many years. In fact, it wasn't until 2023 that I finally gave this franchise its fair chance. One of my best friends named Justin, who's the biggest Nintendo fan I know, reached out once Metroid Prime Remastered was announced, and he asked me, "Are you gonna play this?" Justin, of course, not only played but beat all of the Metroid games in that franchise. Meanwhile, I hadn't ever even played Metroid Prime. I told him, nah, first-person shooters aren't really my thing. And he was so adamant that I tried out the game that he actually gifted me a copy of Metroid Prime Remastered when it came out to ensure that I actually played it. And I gotta tell you, after about 20 minutes of playing Metroid Prime Remastered, I was hooked. Check out how cool this game is. I immediately told him this game is awesome. Then I told him inspiration just struck. I have to draw Samus. But what kind of drawing was I gonna do? Well, if you've seen any of my other previous videos, it's no surprise that my mind immediately went to Dragon Ball. And my first thought was, what if I used the iconic image of Goku arriving on planet Namek in his spaceship as inspiration for this Samus project? It seemed to fit. I mean, we often see Samus arriving out of her spaceship when she gets to a new planet. So I decided I was going to do a Samus version of this Goku image. But there's a twist. I decided that I would draw all three versions of Samus' suit from Metroid Prime, including the Various suit, the Gravity suit, and the Phazon suit. Okay, so now the idea is in my head. But before we get into the drawing, let's do a brief history of the Metroid franchise. The Metroid franchise was started in 1986, and the original game was released on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Metroid follows the adventures of bounty hunter Samus Aran as she does battle with space pirates and the Metroids. Samus was raised by the Chozo once her family was killed at the hands of the space pirates led by the fearsome Ridley. She initially serves in the military for the Galactic Federation, but eventually becomes a bounty hunter to take on the forces of the space pirates, the Metroids, and of course, Ridley. Super Metroid was released in 1994 for the SNES, and that is considered one of not only the best games of that generation, but also one of the best video games of all time. Here's a full list of Metroid releases from Nintendo. Okay, now that we've gone into some of the history, it's time to draw. Okay, so as I start this drawing, on the left I'm going to have 3 reference images of Goku coming off the ship on Namek, and on the right I'm going to have just some reference images of Samus that I can refer to as I draw this. I'm doing my usual getting the rough shapes down, the circles, the different polygons, trying to get the shape of the blaster, the kneecaps, the visor. The other thing I'm trying to do is get the similar standing position that Goku's standing in these 3 pictures, but I don't want it to be exactly the same as how Goku's standing, so that's why you'll see me attempting to draw Samus in a similar position, but not quite what he's doing. This is actually a challenging drawing for me because I don't typically draw armor or mechanical type components like Samus's Varia suit. So it was actually a challenge to figure out how to do the metal and the various pieces of the armor as well as the blaster and the helmet. You can see I'm starting to get some of the detail work in, the different grooves on the arm and leg pads, the different areas where the light components are going to be the light up parts of the Varia suit, and the grooves in the helmet as well as that piping around the chin area. Another important factor to this piece is I wanted to convey Samus's quiet confidence. Her character typically would arrive on a planet and she knows there's going to be threats as soon as she walks out of the spaceship. So she's got to be ready for anything. And I really was trying to make it look like she's ready to go and she's not afraid of what she's about to face. Now you can see I've gotten to the point where not only do I have the base colors done, but I'm starting to get into that shading work. And I'm trying to shade this piece in a similar way to how Goku is shaded in the 2 reference images where he's actually colored in. So the only difference is that Samus doesn't have clothing like Goku. She has armor, and the light would reflect differently off of that than it would Goku's clothes. So I've really just kind of taken what I see in the reference image and shade things and kind of tell myself, does this look good, does that look good, and I just go from there. Time to get to work on the background, and really here I'm just trying to draw something similar to the backgrounds you see in the reference images on the left and kind of give it that space feel. The last thing I'm going to do is attempt to achieve the glowing effect on Samus's armor as well as the flame coming off of the blaster. Okay, so now we've got Varia suit completed, and now I'm going to be doing the gravity suit using another folder, which is basically a collection of layers over top of what I've already done. And this is something you'll see me do quite often. Alright, let's move the Varia suit over to the left, and now we're starting work on the gravity suit. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm just taking the old layers from the Varia suit and duplicating them, changing the colors to what the gravity suit would be. And then I change the visor, do a gradient there, and there it is. That's the gravity suit. So now I'm gonna move the gravity suit over to the right and I'm gonna start to work on the Phazon suit in the same way. So one of the great things about digital art as well as Clip Studio Paint in general, which is the program I use, is the ability to use these folders and these layers. Almost all digital art programs will allow you to do this. I just love using Clip Studio Paint. So what you're going to see me do here is the same thing I did for the gravity suit, but then I'm going to do an overlay layer and try to add some sparkle onto the metal, since this Phazon suit is supposed to have like a shiny sparkly component to it, and then I just changed the coloring of the lights to match what the Phazon suit has. The last thing you'll see me do, and I forgot to mention this before, is I wanted some manga effects And I did that just because I wanted it to look somewhat like the manga that I based this image off of, which is, of course, Dragon Ball with Goku arriving on Namek. And here we have all three completed. Okay, I'm excited to say that all three versions of Samus are finally complete. A big thanks to Justin for gifting me a copy of Metroid Prime Remastered, which of course inspired me to make these drawings. It also made me realize how awesome the Metroid franchise is. Who's ready for Metroid Prime 4? Please be sure to comment which of these three drawings was your favorite. Please like the video as well as subscribe to the channel. Now for the bonus content. I'm going to be revealing a drawing that I made a few years ago of Samus mashed up with Launch from Dragon Ball. I hope you guys will enjoy this, and see you next time.